So, I'm here to talk to you about teen parenting, and I'm Natasha St. Pierre. So, congrats, you are a parent now. This vlog, I hope, will educate y'all on being the best teen parents ever. So, we've got attachment according to Ainsworth. Children's attachments can either be secure or unsecure. To ensure an attachment is secure, mothers/caregivers should respond accordingly to the baby's cues and provide comfort. Not doing this can lead to avoidant/ambivalent and disorganized/disoriented attachment. Now, what are those, y'all are wondering? Well, secure means the mother comes back after 5 minutes and baby knew she would come back. Avoidant is the baby is ignoring the mother when she comes back and acts as if she's unimportant as a defense mechanism. Ambivalent, the baby's openly angry at the mother because the mother left. And disorganized or disoriented is it's maltreated, and it's kind of like a mix of all, and it's depressed. So you don't want your child to develop one of them bad ones. So, some detriments of attachment patterns is, so this is how it happens. So, like, if you ignore the baby's cries or reject your baby, this can lead to avoidant defenses of the baby. If you're only sporadically responding to the baby crying or wanting your attention, this can lead to the anxious or ambivalent attachments. You don't want to abuse your child because that can lead to anxious or disorganized attachments. And basically those can affect how this child develops later in their life. So signs of these patterns later could be they may not ask for help when they need it, or they're less enthusiastic, aggressive in their behavior, have trouble maintaining long-term relationships. So those are definitely things to avoid. We also consider nurture and nature. So these are kind of two different development theories that people talk about. So there is a critical period of child development according to the nature theory. So it's kind of like the windows of opportunity. And this appears in the first year of life, and during the first 3 years, it's how the brain systems are developed. A majority of the systems and structures are formed that are responsible for emotional functioning, behavioral functioning, social functioning, and psychological functioning. So you don't want to mess that up. That gotta be working right in order for your child to behave properly. So that's the nature look on it. Nurture is more like what you do to help your baby develop. So, a critical period is a period of time during which bonding experiences must be present for the brain systems responsible for attachment to develop normally. So, there are also factors that influence attachment, and those are infant temperament and health. So, if the child is sick, like physically sick, that can hurt their development in their brain. The caregiver behavior, so y'all will want to be real nice and responding to the baby, and just letting it know that you're there. And environment distress. If you are feeling stressed about your job or outside environment, your baby will likely feel that, so you want to avoid that and just give your baby a healthy environment to grow up in. And there's a fit between the infant and the caregiver. Y'all are supposed to respond to each other's cues. Now that's very important. So we've got brain development. So there are different parts of the brain. So we got the frontal lobe, the temporal lobe, the cerebellum cortex, the occipital lobe, and the parietal lobe. So these are all responsible for different kinds of things that your baby and everyone has. So the occipital lobe deals with distance and depth perception, face recognition, and memory formation. The cerebellum is coordinating voluntary movements, motor skills such as balance, coordination, and posture. The brainstem is like the stalk part of the brain, and it connects to the spinal cord and it controls breathing. Temporal lobe, hearing ability, sense of identity, memory. Frontal lobe is emotional control center, problem solving, impulse control, organization, and planning. The parietal lobe is the sensation and the perception part of the brain. Now, we are focusing on how you can develop these parts of the brain, but y'all should also remember, don't drop the child, because then you won't even be able to develop the brain. So, this is some easy suggestions to promote brain development. So you can baby talk to your baby so they learn language. You can play games that involve your hands, show babies how you can move, be attentive. You can foster an early passion for books for the babies so that their brain continues to develop and they might be smarter. Choose toys that allow babies to explore and interact, so like a ball, so that they move instead of laying there. Make sure the baby is exploring its surroundings and knowing how to use its limbs, and respond promptly when your baby cries, like we talked about earlier. That if you don't, that can lead to bad attachments. So, but if you were looking for a more scientific approach, we've got the synaptic gap, which is also called the synapse. We've got neurotransmitters, and we've got formation of neural network. Now, I'm going to go into those. So, the synapse is basically how it's important is chemical synapse are flexible. So that's the plasticity of the brain, which we're going to talk about. And this valuable flexibility is the foundation of all learning. So you can't mess with that. We've got the formation of the neural network. Now, those are the systems of the brain that are formed through the creation of neural pathways. As neurons communicate with one another, they build neural networks. Now we've got plasticity. So this is the ability of the neurons to modify their connections to make certain neural circuits more efficient. Every time you learn something, these make new circuits, and those get stronger and stronger. We've also got blooming and pruning. Blooming is when neurons create for more synapses of other neurons, and these are retained. Pruning is when little used synapses, like something you do as a baby, you crawl around. Well, you might not be as good at crawling around when you're like 50. So that's when an old skill gets thrown away. You don't need it anymore. So you want to keep that in mind when you're helping your child's development. So there's a theory that people used to think about. They were like, the brain is fixed, you can't have no new neurons past adolescence. Well, that's not true. We've actually found out just in the last century that, we've got neurogenesis. And that's actually the discovery that there are new neurons getting added. And sometimes there's just factors that suppress neurogenesis. So that could be stress, depression, and illness. So we're going to go into how to stop those, how to reverse those with therapy. So these therapies are how you can help your child if they have OCD or anxiety or anything like that. This helps them. But hopefully they will not have those disorders, and y'all will be good parents. So, CBT is cognitive develop behavior therapy. This is short-term form of psychotherapy, and this develops skills and strategies for becoming and staying healthy, and it focuses on the present. It treats common anxiety disorders that change the physical structure and nerve functional response of the amygdala. We've also got the default mode network. So that's the voice in your mind. That's what's telling you what to do. Now, this activates the brain regions that are prefrontal, temporal, and parental. This therapy helps with diseases like depression and anxiety and schizophrenia. And then we've also just got exercise, diet, and meditation. If you exercise, meditate, and have a good diet, this all improves your neurogenesis, and it goes way up. So a healthy brain is a healthy body. Our last topic we're going to talk about today is toxic stress and resilience. Now, there are different levels of stress. So there's positive, tolerable, and toxic stress. Positive stress is response is normal and essential. So it's like going to prom is stressful, but like it's exciting. Getting your driver's license. Tolerable stress is like when you lose a loved one in your family, but you have other people in your family to support you. So it's tolerable because you had those support networks. Now, things become toxic when it might be a death of a loved one, but you don't have anyone to support you. You don't have a network to help you get through that. So that's when it turns toxic. But you know what? Babies are resilient. If any of that stuff happens, there is proof that even babies who grew up in abusive homes or bad places, they can just be as successful as the next person who had 2 loving parents and a dog. So, really, it just depends on your baby, and what you really got to worry about is doing all you can. Just make sure you respond to your baby, feed it, make sure it seems to be developing right, and I hope this vlog helped you.